Okay, so today we're going to teach you about the different types of triangles, and there are four different types of triangles, and they're all pretty distinct in themselves with their different angles and side lengths, and you can pretty much always tell which one's which, as long as you know which ones look like what. So, the first one is it's a right triangle, and it looks like that. And you can tell it's a right triangle because it has one right 90-degree angle on one side. And so it's always going to have one right angle and two acute angles. So, yeah.
And then there's an equilateral triangle, and it has three equal sides and also has three equal angles which equal to 60 degrees.
And then the third one is called a scaling triangle. And all the different angles are completely different in themselves. They all have different angle lengths, but they always add up to 180 degrees. And so that's what a scaling triangle looks like.
And then there's the isosceles triangle, and it has two equal sides and no equal angles. Or two equal angles, just kidding. Two equal angles.
Yay! It has two equal angles and one just oddball angle that's not equal to anything. So yeah. So there are three different types of angles that you'll see on triangles. And so the first one is
a right angle. It has a right angle which equals 90 degrees, and it looks like a part of a square or a rectangle. And then there's the acute angle, which all the angles are less than 90 degrees, so it's a lot smaller than the right angle. And then there's the obtuse angle, and it has an angle more than 90 degrees, so it's a lot bigger than the right angle. So, yeah.
when trying to find all the angles in a triangle, the angle measurements, all the angles will always add up to 180 degrees. So let's say they gave you a triangle that had one angle was 90 degrees and the other two angles, well, if you have 90 degrees, you're obviously going to know that if you have two other angles, one's going to be 45 and the other's going to be 45, because that would create a right triangle. But when you have different things like acute angles, you would take whatever one you have, and then you would either measure the other two with a protractor, but if you don't have a protractor, you can use a mathematical equation in order to find out the other angle measurements. So yeah. There's one last advanced concept to teach you about triangles, and it pretty much just gives you a way to find the long angle of the triangle.
Yeah, and it's called the Pythagorean theorem, and in a right-angled triangle, the square of the long side is equal to the sum of the squares in the other two. And it's stated in the formula a2 plus b2 equals c2. So let's say it's like a is 3, 2 plus 6, 2 equals c2. And so, squared. And so you would just add it up and multiply, and you would find it.
So let's say you had a problem, and your problem was like so. Let's say you had a triangle, and your triangle was like this. And it gave you what your A was. If A was here and B was here, then C would be this line. So you would have, let's say it gave you 6 and 3. So you would put 3 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. So 3 squared is 9, and 6 squared is 36.
And you would add the 2, and then
find the square root of that.
Yeah, find the square root of that.
So 9 plus 36 is 45. So the square root of 45 is it's between 6 and 7. So you would round it to either 6 or 7 depending on which square root was closer. Or you can find the exact one, but that's a really super advanced concept that you won't be learning till high school. So that's pretty much a general overview of the Pythagorean theorem.
So we basically went over finding angles, types of triangles, Pythagorean theorems, and
Pretty much everything
Yeah.
in between with triangles that you're going to need to know in sixth grade. So
so
we hope you learned something from this because when you're our age, you're going to want to know this stuff. So have fun, guys. Triangles are always enjoyable.